Hey friends, welcome back. Today we are going to get into the knee to hip relationship of plantar fasciitis from 3 different fascial chains. So I'm going to get started. I'm still continuing to use this wooden roller. You could use a foam roller. You could use a cross ball, tennis ball. You could use a massager. You could also, for the IT band here in a moment, one of my favorite things is a cupping set. So I've got that underneath one of my butt cheeks. I'm crossing ankle over opposite knee to intensify. You don't have to do that. You could just be like so. And I'm rolling back and forth. So this is to get at just the glute max and more of the outer glute muscles. Part of this line involves the piriformis. I'll post a link. I've already done a deeper piriformis release that you can, if you so choose, dig into that. Getting on to the side there too. And I will then pivot to my other cheek, ankle over knee, rolling back and forth. And really trying to get even up into that love handle, gluteus medius area. Okay, next part. I personally have no problem foam rolling the IT band. If you research into this, some people don't advocate it. I'm going to start with this in the middle of my thigh on the side. This is plenty intense on a piece of wood, so I've got my foot here to sort of take some of the pressure off, and I'm rolling back and forth. So the way that I look at it is that if you get to the point where you can't breathe, then whatever method you're doing for the IT band is too intense. And I do want to get that down towards the knee too. Another aspect that you want to get at here is if you kind of do a quarter turn forward, you want to hit the outer quadricep muscle, so this part right in here as well. And that for me is often worse than the IT band. And even up in here too, I'm going to get at my tensor fascial lata, which is actually the muscle that tenses the IT band. So where I'm at right now on the other side is kind of this meaty part right here. Then I will take that to the other side. I'll also post a link to a deeper TFL release that I've already recorded in the past. So I've got this middle thigh, going back and forth. So there's my TFL. I could kind of teeter-totter like so. If I wanted to make this more intense on the IT band, I could have both legs on top of one another hovering. This is too intense for me, so I'm not going to play with that. You could also do that and kind of push down. And I'm going to get at this a little bit closer to my knee. Okay, then the last aspect here that we're going to do for our massage portion is the hamstrings. And that's kind of what I'm digging about using this wooden roller lately, is it kind of encapsulates and squeezes in the hamstrings as well as the calf. And the hamstrings start all the way up at the sit bone or the ischial tuberosity, so make sure you roll up that far, or massage, whatever you're using. And also turn the leg, kind of windshield wiper it side to side, because it's hamstrings, there's more than one. Okay. Similar idea here to the IT band. I'm starting in the middle. If I wanted to make this more intense or give myself added core workout, I would roll back and forth hovering. And again, the wood is intense enough for me. So I'm going all the way up to my butt bone area. And then getting that inner hamstring as well. Okay, let's get into our stretches. Our first stretch is going to be more of a fascial stretch for the hamstrings. So I'm going to do a play on a yoga pose where I cross elbow over elbow, and I'm going to try to get fingertips to palm. If you cannot do that, you can hold onto a towel of some kind. I'm gonna reach my fingertips up towards the ceiling. If you wanted to, you could kind of do a test here of just trying to touch hands to the floor. Now I'm gonna karate chop for 3 and see if just which hamstring is tighter, how easy it is, how far you get to the floor, and then see if it gets better after this stretch series. So that was my karate chop. I'm then going to forward fold at the hips and reach my fingers towards the floor. And then lastly, I'm going to deep bend at my knees as deep as I need to go, get my middle finger to the floor, let my head drop, and reach my butt towards the ceiling for 5. You could do any of these for longer, obviously. And then slowly rolling up, shaking it out. I'll show you from the back side as well. So I'm karate chopping the other way now. I'm reaching fingertips to the ceiling for 3. Karate chopping for 3. Forward folding at the hips. Reaching fingers to the floor for 3. Then deep bend at the knees. Middle finger to the floor, butt towards the ceiling for 5. Head drops. Cool. Shaking it out. Next, we're gonna stretch a little bit of that vastus lateralis or quad in with the piriformis glute. Basically, we're just gonna hit up the whole area. If you do not have the mobility to do this, you could do what I'm about to do with a foot on some kind of an elevated surface and then the leg behind you, like so, in the different positions that I'm about to do. So, I'm gonna have leg extended. The other leg is going to be bent behind me, kind of to whatever mobility level you have. I'm gonna try to have my foot flat, and then ideally too, I'm not great at this either, I would have my weight more shifted in the middle. My hips are too tight to do that. And then I'm reaching forward. I'm really trying to pull back on the ball of the foot more so than the toes. And I'm gonna hold these for 10 each, but you could do longer. I'm then going to kick this leg to a 90-degree angle, and I'm going again. And then lastly, I'm kind of doing this in lieu of pigeon pose, but that would be another option for stretching these areas. Ankle over thigh, reaching forward. If I don't have that mobility, I could just have the arch of my foot inside of my inner thigh. Okay, and other side. So I'm having it bent first, reaching forward for 10. I'll post a link to another hip stretch that I've done that has more of a fascial focus. So what I mean by fascial stretches, I went to a training once where somebody kind of differentiated fascial from muscle. So now I'm at that 90 degree. And that muscle stretches is kind of stretching in opposition of what the muscle does, which is what we think of when we stretch the quad and you pull your heel to your butt. But a fascial stretch would be anything that if you had a wetsuit on or jeans on, that you would have like a tension in the skin. And since plantar fasciitis is fascia, I'm erring on stretches that stretch more fascial connections today. So I'm pulling that foot back to make sure that I have the integrity of it being flat. Great. Now that we have massaged the things and stretched the things, we are going to reactivate the things. So first, we're going to reactivate the glute max. So the action of the glute is to push the heel backwards or push the leg backwards. So if I do this against a wall, I want to try to have knee in line with other knee and flat-footed. And I'm just going to push backwards and try to feel like my butt cheek lights up. And once again, we're just doing this to activate. We're not really being particular about strengthening. Another option here, I'm just going to do one more. So I'm doing 3 total. Another option would be to do bridge pose on the floor. So I'm pushing backwards. You can tell if your butt's activating, if you can even touch it, but you can kind of feel, and you want it underneath where your denim jeans pocket would be. So that was activating my glute max. I'm now going to activate my 3 hamstrings. I'm gonna do this facing this way. So I'm gonna touch. So you want middle one. Once again, knee and knee. And I'm just gonna do 3 of each. And then I'm gonna bring my leg rotated inwards, foot out for 3. And then same idea. And finding 3. And then I'll do that on the other side. So you want to feel this ideally coming from the back of the thigh. Depending upon how dominant your quads are, you may need to think of this as a pulley, in that my thigh is stretching in the front in order for the back to contract. Our last 3 bits of activation today will be for the piriformis, tensor fasciae lata, and vastus lateralis. So for the piriformis, if I just lay on my side, this is the clam series. If you've gone to an exercise class, you may have done this. Legs are at 45. My feet are in line with my butt, so you may even want to do this against a wall. And I'm just gonna lift. And I also usually hold on here to the back. Another cue would be to really reach your waistline long so that you feel your waistline activate. And actually, ideally, I should have my head in line with my hips on this. So doing that from the back side so you can see me. I double check my feet, reach my waistline long, and make sure that I'm not teetering open. And you want to feel that kind of cutting right through here. Okay, so I activated those. Then the action of the TFL is rotating the thigh inward and lifting the leg. So I'll do 5. And then other side. And this is my weaker side, I guess, so I just kind of caught myself sort of rocking backwards to try to find the lift. So this is another one that it may be good to do in a backed chair or where you're against a wall. And then focusing on that outer quadricep, I'm going to turn my leg in again and I'm just going to kick the knee. So I'm going from bent to straight. And then I will do 5 on the other side. Great. Thank you for watching, and we will get into the meat of the calves and feet over the next couple episodes.